This is CNN.
The polls have closed in the state of Idaho. It now goes in George Bush's column.
George Bush, going for 5 electoral votes in Utah, he has won that state.
CNN Election Night with Bernard Shaw and Catherine Cryer, with analysis from Ken Bodie and Bill Schneider.
And the pendulum is moving from east to Midwest to west now as we continue with our coverage tonight, Ken Bodie.
We're in that western block.
Idaho.
Idaho, a state for the last 6 elections, has been Republican with margins of up to 72%. The 7th election in a row, Idaho goes for a Republican nominee, George Bush, the winner.
In Utah, the state of Utah has only gone for Democrats twice since 1945. It stays with George Bush.
This was George Bush's best state in 1988. He got 2/3 of the vote. Ronald Reagan got 3/4 of the vote. This is a core Republican state, probably the most Republican in the country. Heavily Mormon, stays Republican.
Let's go up to Iowa now. We are declaring that Governor Bill Clinton has won Iowa's 17 electoral votes.
Well, Iowa has only 7, Bernie, electoral votes, but it's a...
Did I say 17?
Yeah, you said 17.
Pardon
Iowa's
me.
got 7. That's in the, and that was the Dukakis state in 1988 as well.
And there are 3 in the state of Montana, and it's undecided just where those 3 will go.
Undecided means we don't have enough information yet. It's a Rocky Mountain state, and we'll see if Clinton can continue to make inroads into the West.
Nevada. Right now, Nevada, with its 4 electoral votes, undecided.
Well, Nevada is a traditionally Republican state, one the Republicans can normally count on. And we'll see, the polls are just closed out there, what happens in Nevada.
And of course, to voters out in the West, those polls are still open. We encourage you to keep voting. And as we make that encouragement, let's take a look at the electoral count as it stands now.
That's exactly what I have on my pad. 254 for Governor Bill Clinton. He's getting closer and closer every second, it seems. 55 for President Bush.
That's 16 votes shy of the majority of 270 needed to elect a new president. George Bush is clearly on the ropes. He's carried a smattering of southern and western states, 1 midwestern state. He's going to have to carry every single state that is either undecided or too close to call, just about, to win this election.
Well, the Democrats have really redrawn the electoral map tonight, haven't they?
They certainly have.
They're winning in the Mountain West, they're winning in the South, they're winning in New England, they're winning in the suburbs, the battleground Midwestern states, Missouri and Pennsylvania and Wisconsin and Illinois, so forth, states where the Republicans have locked up their totals are now slipping to the Democrats.
And it seems the Democrats tonight are winning on the issues. The argument about trust and character versus who can do the best job with the economy.
Well, you've seen one of the old maxims in presidential politics is you may have to move to the far right or the far left during a primary to pull in those voters to support you in a primary, but you've got to move back and moderate for a general election. We remember the convention in Houston, the Patrick Buchanans and the very conservative movement that took over. Looks like it may have hurt the president.
It may well have. 2/3 of the voters in today's polling said that they disapproved of the job that George Bush is doing in managing the economy. That appears to be the controlling issue. Remember, 1 year ago, George Bush was riding high in the polls. He scared off a lot of Democrats who didn't want to run. Well, only 8% of the voters in today's election nationwide said they were concerned about foreign policy. That's the Gulf War. Now, they went overwhelmingly for George Bush, but only 8% were concerned about foreign policy in this election. How quickly things change in a year.
There's a song called Back Home Again in Indiana. Herb Schreiner used to talk about that on his old television show. The vice president...
Are we going to sing it?
Well, no, we can't. We'll sing it later on. The vice president went home to Indiana to vote and to watch the election night results. Mary Tillotson is covering the Quayle campaign. Mary?
Bernie, this is one of those states that has been solidly in the Bush-Quayle column for some time, with the early return showing just how few such states there are. Someone was just telling me that they can't hear me over the crowd. This may look like a victory celebration, but with the early return showing Indiana is one of the very few states solidly in President Bush's column, it is really more in the way of an Irish wave. Vice President Quayle himself is to be here about an hour from now, a little after 11 o'clock, to thank his supporters. His staffers say that he feels good about the way he's campaigned this year, particularly in comparison to 1988 when he took such a bruising. And as you can hear the crowd saying, they see this not as the end of Dan Quayle's political career, but perhaps the beginning of a race for 1996. Some of the vice president's staff are already wearing buttons saying Quayle in 96. One theory among those staffers is that what Republicans ran into this year was a wave of anti-incumbent feeling. The theory, trying to make the best of a bad situation, is that if Quayle loses tonight, he will carry no baggage of incumbency into 1996. That may just be taking lemons and trying to make lemonade, but it also bears some validity that the last day of the 1992 campaign is in effect the first day of 1996's campaign for president. Gary Tillotson, CNN Live with the Bush-Quayle campaign, Indianapolis.
Well, Mary, it sounds like there's a lot of activity there, regardless of the mood, and we've got much more election coverage to come. We'll be right back.
CNN's election coverage is brought to you in part by Jeep and Eagle, a division of the Chrysler Corporation, and by Merrill Lynch. We're bullish on the future.
This is one of the easiest places for a Jeep Cherokee to go, but not because of its proven capability or its legendary Jeep ruggedness. What makes it so easy to bring the classic Jeep Cherokee here is the price.
Now save an additional $500 on new 93 Jeep Cherokees.
Risk. As hard as it is to live with, it's impossible to live without. At Merrill Lynch, we know that risk can be dealt with. It can be managed. It can even be turned to your advantage. To do that, you need a partner who understands it and can help you turn a world of risk into a world of opportunity. Merrill Lynch, we're bullish on the future.
Of an extraordinary timepiece, achieved after 500 years of Swiss watchmaking. The Concord Mariner 500.
You see, I figured it was another tie. But when I open the box, I see this thing that looks like a baby typewriter. So I asked, what is it? She says it's a Brother P-Touch. She says it's a new electronic labeling system that makes adhesive labels in 5 sizes, 4 styles, and lots of colors. First, I labeled file folders, computer disks, my videotapes, my cat. You gotta help me with this problem. What problem?